All right, y'all. I think we're live. We're going to see if this works. I'm pretty sure it is. Let me know when you can hear and see me. Welcome to the Chord Bootcamp, Night 3. This is where we start putting the pieces together, all right? So this is going to be good. So thanks for everybody who's commenting and hanging out right now. This is good. I really appreciate you being here and being a part of this. This is going to be a great one. So, we got people from Connecticut, Chicago, Canada, Toronto. Wait, that is Canada. We got Newfoundland. We got Missouri, Kansas, Australia, Ohio. Dude, this is great. This is really, really great. Okay, man, awesome. Rocking out with your Schecter Omen Extreme 3 tellies. I brought the telly out tonight. All right, so let's do a little jam to get this started up. West Virginia. All right, let me know where else you guys are watching from. This is good. Here we go. Oh yeah, I was waiting for somebody to name it. Thanks, Ramona, Jake. All right. Well, let's jump into this, but let's take care of a couple things. Man, everybody that's been posting in the community, thank you so much. I appreciate you posting the homework. Man, it's showing a huge level of commitment there, and everybody that's posted in there is going to get thrown into the hat for a drawing for tonight's prize. But this is great stuff. I really appreciate y'all being here. Once again, this is just a pleasure for me to do. I enjoy teaching these things, and you're thinking, why does he do this for free? Well, I'm doing it for free because I want to help you get a jump start and give you some crazy momentum here, all right? So I want you guys to have the most – I didn't realize my shirt's matching my telly almost. But anyway, and my hat. Apparently I like the color blue, right? So anyways, I want you guys to get momentum. I want you guys to have a transformational experience on this guitar, all right? I'm looking for you guys to be able to take your playing to the next level, and I want you to be able to do that with me as your guide this week and hopefully even further into the future, all right? So first things first, all right? Make sure if you're watching now and you have not officially signed up, that link is in the description to sign up for it. You'll get your ebook. I put it in black and white because everybody was saying that the colors were weird. So we're doing a black and white, and then you can join the Facebook group. That link is below as well. All right, and the replay link is in that description as well, so you can watch the replays for the time being, okay? Those won't stay up forever, so make sure that you get in there and check those out as they go. I know it takes a while to get through this material. All right, so the other thing is make sure if you haven't yet, post some videos of your guitars, pictures of your guitars, or just what I'm really looking for at the end of the day is for you to post videos of or pictures of the homework, all right? Mainly the pictures for the homework would have been from Monday's stuff. You can still submit your homework all week long. So don't feel like because we're past Monday that you can't submit Monday's homework, or we're past Tuesday so you can't submit Tuesday's homework. I'm really looking for you to submit your homework all week long. That's how you're going to get feedback from me. I had trouble getting to all of them today as well. I'm going to go back in there and give you guys some comments and stuff on that stuff. But just post your homework all week long. I want you to feel like that's a safe place to put it, even though it's on Facebook. It's a private community. Make sure you do that, all right? And just a quick reminder, if you're getting some transformation out of this week and you're having some light bulbs, man, imagine what you can do with continued instruction and continued growth, all right? So this is what's really coming on Sunday, and I won't go too long on it because we're teaching tonight, right? We're not doing we're not doing anything crazy here. So I want you to take a look at this real quick, all right? So this is happening. It's opening on Sunday, March 15th. It's going to be open till the 21st. I'm only taking 50 people, all right, in the gold membership, all right? And I'll explain more about this in the future as we get a little bit closer to it because I want to get to teaching. But you're going to get all of this stuff, all these courses and more. It's a lifetime membership. It's not a monthly thing. You got live teaching that's happening every month, more courses that are coming. I mean, we're talking already without the extra stuff. Without the extra stuff, we're already at a $9,000 value here. All right, we're going to have 2 tiers here. All right, I'm only taking 50 into the gold because I want to be able to give as many people feedback as possible. And there's over 800 people signed up for this, so those 50 slots are going to fill. All right, so that enrollment will open at 5 p.m. Central on Sunday, okay? You're going to get all kinds of courses and live sessions with me for life. And it's not a monthly subscription. It's just a one-time investment. So let's get to teaching here, all right? Let me see if I can get my mouse. There we go. So into the teaching, and we'll answer some questions at the end, all right? So we'll answer questions at the end, so save those. You can post them in there, but you may have to post them again, all right? So yeah, there's some stretching going on for some of this stuff. But once again, if you're a current student and you're in the All Access Pass, let them know in the comments how you like it. If you're a student just in general or have been in the past, let them know how you like me as an instructor. That will really help me out. And let's get to teaching. All right, so let's review a little bit of what we talked about on Monday. I want to reiterate something here for you guys. So we're going to go back to the top. All right. So thanks for hanging out. It's a big commitment to show up to these things. And the good part is you can rewatch these on the replays. So I want to go back through something real quick that you could have glazed over. And that's the deep learning cycle. Okay. Before we get into the next session tonight. So our deep learning cycle, it's just an acronym. We got to have 2 E's because those are the letters. And if you know me by now, you know that I'm big into acronyms, all right? So we've got D, discover. And this is how we break things down in my all access community and this in general how I teach, okay? So check this out. Discover, learn the new, Isaiah, thank you so much. All right, so discover, learn the new technique or concept. That's what we're doing. Engage, practice it deliberately and focus on accuracy and control, all right? That's huge. You don't want to just play through these things. You know, when we were doing last night, the cage, you don't want to just rush through. Be like, I'm done. Play through it. Go to the next one. Do a little strumming pattern. All right. So thank you guys for the kind words there. I appreciate that. So execute, apply it creatively, and then in a functional setting, right? Rhythm, solo, or improv, right? So that was kind of what we talked about. And by the way, if you stick around to the end tonight, I'm definitely going to do like a little chord lick chord bonus little lesson for you guys, okay? So make sure you stick around all the way to the end for this lesson because I'm going to teach you guys some great stuff, and then I'm going to show you how you can kind of apply it right away. This is something I didn't do in the previous boot camps, but I'm going to do it because I want you guys to make sure you got everything you could possibly need. So make sure you give me let me know for sure if you can hear my guitar and my voice okay, just so I'm sure. And if I need to adjust anything, I will. So execute, apply it in a creative or functional setting. That means apply it to music. You don't want to do these things and then just not apply it to music ever, right? You want to apply it to music as soon as you possibly can, all right? So that's the best, all right? That is literally the best, all right? So then you want to present it, record or post your videos as a reflection of growth. All right, so if you're just used to practicing at home and no one ever hears your music besides your spouse, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, whoever, right? Your friend, your neighbor, whoever you're playing with at the time, you need other people to see it that are like in a community with you, right? You don't want to go at this stuff by yourself. You want to like have other people that can say, you did great, Ramona. You did great, Isaiah. I love that. What did you do there that I didn't understand, but I can learn from you? You can learn from others. And this is a huge part of why I set up the private community for you guys in Facebook. And that's just a reflection of what goes on in my All Access Pass community as well on a weekly and daily basis, okay? So this is huge, okay? So you want to be able to, thanks, Peggy. Thanks, Jake. Appreciate you guys. Thanks, Leon. So the biggest thing is you want to make sure that you use these acronyms, right? I'm showing you things you might have learned before, but we're looking at it from a different perspective, so it's a good review. Learn the concept or technique, engage, practice it deliberately, 10 to 15 minutes a day, 20 minutes a day if you've got the time, and more if you've got more time, right? Execute it, apply it in a creative or functional setting, improv, rhythm, solo, and present, all right? So that's what you're looking for right there, and that's what we want you to be able to think about as you're playing and progressing. There's so many pieces of content on the internet for guitar players, and it's really kind of a convoluted area, and what you need is something off of like mainstream social media to really, really help you grow, okay? So we also covered the keys containing sharps, right? So a lot of people posted their homework on that, and I gave you a nice little diagram right here in the ebook, which you can get by signing up officially, and the link is below, right? Or if you join the Facebook group, you'll see it there, but I would love for you to officially sign up because then you'll get all the notifications for when I'm going live, all right? We talked about the major scale, the formula for it, and then we also talked about like numbering these notes, right? Instead of just saying a G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, which you should eventually do. But for now, we're not really doing that. We're just trying to get that down so that we can understand the Nashville number system, which is huge. And that probably gave some of you guys some light bulb moments the other week. And I gave you a nice little, last night or 2 nights ago. This is the big diagram for that really helps you understand it. By the way, nobody uses the Roman numerals unless you're in college for music. Just the regular numbers will work just fine. Okay. We don't need the Roman numerals. I don't even know what Super Bowl it was last year based on the Roman numerals. All right. And then you had homework over there. All right. So now session 2, we talked about the cage system. I'm not going to review too much of this because you can go back and rewatch the video. John's watching from Dallas. Appreciate you, John. John's a longtime student as well. If you're enjoying your experience, John, let him know in the comments. That'll really help. And then, so check this out. Session 3, this is where we're at tonight. Oh my gosh, I don't want to look at myself. I think I was younger there. Capturing my aging on the internet every time I post a video. All right, so triad shapes as they apply to music. What are we going to learn tonight? We're going to understand how chord tones and intervals, somebody asked about intervals last night, by mapping out major and minor triads all over the fretboard. All right, we're going to start with a couple of simple ones. All right. We're going to start with G major triads. And before I get into this, I'm going to kind of break this down with this without this being there. All right. Use ancient Latin. Okay. So look, I'm going to show you this 2 different ways tonight. Okay. But the first way is going to be going up the neck. So with triads, we've got 3 string groupings. All right. Seattle's in the house. Nice. So with triads, we've got 3 string groupings. Okay. So for like just basic ones. So what we've got here is we've got 6, 5, and 4. Those 3 notes in a triad. We've got a root, a major third, and a fifth. All right. Major third is what makes it major sounding, happy sounding. The minor triad makes it sound sad. You can think of it that way. Major, minor, right? Major happy, minor sad. All right. Figure that out, or maybe minor makes you happy. I don't know. I like both. Okay, it's easier to play in a minor key for all of us guitar players, anyways, because we can just play our minor pentatonic shape over it, and we're like, thank God, just minor. Major throws guitar players off like crazy. But let's talk about this. So we've got a root, a third, and a fifth. You might be playing 6 strings when you play a G major chord, but guess what? You're only playing 3 notes, right? Technically, you're playing a G, a B, which is the major third, and then the fifth. So G, B, D. Then that just repeats in one order or another, going up to make that full chord. No matter what chord you're playing, whether it's major or minor, if it's just a major or a minor chord, it's a 3-note triad. And you're just stacking those notes to make a full bar chord or an open chord. All right? Power chord is just 2 notes, or a root, a fifth, and another root, right? That's why we like those as well as guitar players, right? So here's the deal. Here's what we've got to get to. We got to need to understand what a major third and a minor third is. So the major third, root, third, and fifth. So where am I getting and that's 1, 3, and 5. Where am I getting that? I'm getting that from the major scale. So if I play the major scale and I go 1, 2, well, if I go 1, 2, 3, like the patterns we did the other night, there's the third. So root, major third, fourth, fifth. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So these numbers that we counted up the other night were not just for Nashville number system, but also to build triads, okay? So we've got root, 1, 1, 2, 3. 3 is our major third, since we're in the major key. 4, 5. So we get a G, B, and a D right here. G, B, D. That makes up this whole G major chord, okay? Same thing with minor. If we had a minor scale, which we didn't get into the other night, but I get into that in my programs, is root, 1, 2, minor third, 4, 5. So it's root, minor third, fifth. Just like this, okay? So that's big, all right? You want to know what the root, what the third, and what the fifth is. If I just show you these triads and don't explain that, then I'm not really doing my job. I want you to understand exactly what this is, okay? So, by the way, there's a guy in here who's going to post a picture in the group, builds P90 guitars. He probably builds all kinds of guitars, but check that out when he posts it. So what I'm looking at here is a root, a major third, and a fifth, all right? That's what we're looking for, root, third, and a fifth. So there's only 3 notes, so we're going to spread these out over 3 strings. Well, how many groupings of 3 strings do we have? Let's take a look at this real quick. So it's real fancy around here, right? I'm using my hand. It's a one-man show, okay? So we've got string grouping right here. That's one. Well, let's start up high. So we've got 1 string grouping here, right? So that's E, B, and G. And then we overlap, and then we've got a second string grouping that's B, G, and D. A third grouping that's G, D, and A, right? And then we've got another grouping that's D, A, and E. So we've got 1 string grouping, 2 string groupings, 3 string groupings, 4 string groupings. And here's the beautiful part. There's only 3 triad shapes per string grouping, all right? So 3 times 4, we got 12 shapes. But here's the thing. Some of those shapes kind of overlap, and they start to build on one another, okay? So when we're thinking about this, we're going to learn tonight all of our G major triads, and you're going to need to do these in different keys, obviously. We're going to do G major and G minor triads. So you're going to learn all your G major triads up the neck off the first 3 strings in the string grouping, all the way up to this 12th fret on the second 3 strings, 4th, 5th, and 3rd string, and then the 6, 5, and 4, all right? So we got 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, right? So we've got 4 string groupings that we're looking at here, right? We got a root, a major third, and a fifth, or a root, a minor third, and a fifth, right? If you can find your root, right here, then you can find the third and then the fifth, right? So that's kind of what you're looking for, all right? So let me see if I can adjust this just slightly, guys. So root, third, and fifth. But now I'm gonna share screen with you. So if you have your workbook with you, go ahead and get it out and let's get through this together. So we're gonna look at this right here. We're going root, third, and fifth. Okay. All right. So let's check this out. So the distance, if we're talking intervals, the distance between this G and this B is a major third. The distance between this G and this D is the fifth. Root, third, root, fifth. An interval is nothing more than the distance between 2 notes based on the major scale, okay? So you got a root. The distance between this note and this note is a major third, G to B. The distance between the G and the D, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, is a fifth. Root, third, and fifth, okay? That's enough theory. Let's get into playing the guitar. So grab that guitar and let's play these together, all right? So this is just, we're doing the first 3 strings, all right? So we've got a G, B, and a D. Doesn't matter what order we do these in because they're different inversions. When you put an inversion in on a triad, or you call it an inversion, it's quite simply a G, B, and a D, but just mixed up. So in this case, the first one we can get is right here. I don't know if I put my guitar out of tune. Playing Old Love there, but I'm going to double check. Because the last thing I want is to be forever on the internet with out of tune guitar playing triads. right? You don't want that. There's an old joke that said playing out of tune is what killed Hendrix. Just kidding. It's like the dad guitar joke. I heard playing out of tune is what killed Hendrix. All right, so check this out. There we go. A little better. So we got 3rd, 5th, and root right here. So I'm putting my middle finger on the 4th fret, 3rd string, index on the 2nd string, 3rd fret, index is barring on that 1st string, 3rd fret. So we got a B, a D, and a G. So you're like, well, it's supposed to be GBD, right? Well, it doesn't have to be. This is an inversion. So this is 1st inversion G major, meaning the 3rd is in the bass. 2nd inversion is D in the bass, and that's just a D, or sorry, is your, yeah, in this case, D in the bass, but that's just your D right there, okay? So, let's get this set up here a little bit better. So, we've got the G, 3rd in the bass, B, D, G, all right? And then your next one up that we can get, we're going to the very next G major triad that we can get to, okay? So let's get to that. We got 7, 8, 7, that's D, G, B, okay? So that right there is just a D major chord, but it's a D major shape, but it's right here, right? It's also out of our C shape of caged. And back, by the way, let me go back and do this one real quick. So if we go back and we do this one again, what cage shape is this out of? All right? It's right there. That's out of our E shape. So this first G major triad with the 3rd in the bass, that is a cage out of the cage shape of G right there. It's a G major, but it's out of the E shape, okay? And then the next one up that we can grab, this is exactly how you're going to practice these and how you want to think about them. This D shape is a G major triad with the 5th in the bass because D is the 5th. And that's also out of your C shape of G, okay? Then the next one up we can get is right here. You zoom in a little. So this is like a vertical way to look at it, all right? Or landscape way. That's GBD. Now we're actually on the root, all right? So that's GBD, and that's out of our A shape of G right there, okay? So we've got 3rd in the bass out of the E shape. 5th in the bass, out of the C shape, root position, out of the A shape, okay? So if that makes sense, give me a nod or say something in the chat for me so I know I can keep going. I gotta check my tuning again. All right, so I'll go through that one more time because we got plenty of time tonight, okay? All right, cool. Seems like you guys got it. All right, next. So the way I would practice that is just like this. I'd be going G, 3rd in the bass, B, D, G, G, 5th in the bass, D, G, B, G, root position, G, B, D. This shape is out of the E shape. This shape is out of the C shape. This shape is out of your A shape of G, okay? So now, check this out. So now, if you think about it like this, now let's go to our next string grouping, all right? Our next string grouping is right here. So, see these notes right here is kind of weird, but that is actually an A shape, but just in the open position. So our G can be like this, just D, G, B, and that's part of our open G chord, but those are the open notes that we play when you play an open G. So that's D, G, B, which would be what? That's 5th in the bass. The D is the 5th. G is 1, B 3, D 5. D, G, B right here, all right? Then our next one we can get to, and that's out of our, it's an A shape or it's a piece of our G shape, if you wanted to think of it that way. The next one up is root position, G, B, D right here, all right? And that's out of our E shape, all right? So now out of our E shape, we've got this triad and this triad. That's kind of cool, right? They start to stack. Okay, so what's our next one? We've got up here, sorry, this is 5, 4, and 3, or G, B, and D. The next one up is 9, 7, 8, or B, D, G. B in the bass means it's first inversion, so the third is in the bass, okay? Why is this being difficult? Okay, so that is like out of our C shape again. So out of this one, we've got a D shape that builds into our C shape triad, just like this. There's our next triad up off the 5th, 4th, and 3rd, which we haven't got to yet, but that's built out of that as well. So what do we got? We've got D, G, and B in the open position, which is out of our G shape. We've got this triad, G, B, D, G, and then G, B, D, all out of our E shape. They start to stack. We've got the G here, that's like a D-shaped chord. That's 5th in the bass. And this one, those are both out of our either our D, which overlaps with our C shape of caged, okay? If this is making sense, drop me a comment and let me know. Save your questions for a little bit here. And then our next one is a repeat of our open position, D, G, B, right here at the 12th fret right here, D, G, B, and that's out of our A shape, right? So that's exactly what we've got going on right here. So you could kind of practice these by doing this. You could go, I would go hit like this, D, G, B, D, G, D, G, B, G, B, D, and then go, oh, that's out of the E shape. This G triad is out of the C shape, or it's a piece of your D shape. And this triad is out of my A shape, right? Now if we go up to the next one, you got D, G, B, open, 4, 3, 2. That's kind of out of our G shape. And then we've got G, B, D, all right, out of our E shape. Next one, B, D, G, 9, 7, 8. That's out of our C shape. So also connects to our D shape, all right? A lot of talking going on here, all right? And then this one and this one are out of our A shape. Hopefully that makes sense, okay? If that's making sense to you guys, drop it in there. And the way you're going to practice these is you're going to go... just like that. And that's how you're going to work through it, okay? You don't have to bar this DBG right here, but it's just easier. I don't like to cram all I don't even have fat fingers, and I can't cram them all in right there. Okay, so let's go and share some more screen and get to work here, y'all. Zoom out a little bit. Now we've got our next ones. Let's take a look at these. The 5th, so the ones that I use the most, just in all transparency, are the first 3 strings and the second 3 strings. So it's strings E, G, and E, B, and G, and G, B, and D. Now, I do use the 5th, 4th, and 3rd, like it's labeled here, quite a bit as well to create these like chordlet chord things, like going, you know, very Hendrixy stuff. So you got to know them off the 5th, 4th, and 3rd. Really, at the end of the day, you need to know them off all string groupings. All right, I was kind of thinking maybe you could cheat, but you can't. Right. So now check this out. Now, basically, you just need to learn them all. All right, we can't just beat around the bush here. We got to do the work. So the next one is B, D, G. This B is off the 5th string, 2nd fret, D, and then G right here, okay? So B, D, and G. So that's a piece of your G major shape right there, right? B, D, G right there. All right, so what's our next one we can get to? D, G, and B, 5, 5, 4. What's that look like? That just looks like an E major chord if you were down here. So that one has to be out of our E shape, all right? It's an E chord shape, not the E chord itself, it's the G chord. But then there's our E shape right there. So that one's out of our E shape. So now what have we got? The first triad, second triad, third triad are all the triads that are built into this E shape of G. Okay? So now, what's our next one? So we had B, D, G, D, G, B, and the next one up, G, B, D. Root is the last one that we can't get. There's only 3 triads in each one. And if you pay attention, if you start on the 3rd, the next triad inversion is going to start on the 5th, which is D, and if you and then it's going to be G. Look what happened here. When we started on root, G, B, D, the next position, D, B was in the bass, and the next position, D was in the bass. All right? Well, here, B was in the bass, D ends up in the bass. It's not really a bass note, but that's the same idea. And then G is in the bass. All these remove move in that same order. Look, G goes to B, goes to D. D goes to G, goes to B. It's kind of far out, right? It's just the way music works, right? Once you understand this stuff, light bulbs go off like crazy. And I teach way more on how cage is related to triads in my online program. So now the way you're going to practice this one is going to be B, D, G, D, G, B, G, B, D. And you can go up again and go B, D, G, which is 14, 12, 12, which I don't have on here, but you can, it's an octave up from this first one right there, okay? Right, so when you grab these little chords, and you know where the pentatonics are around it, or the major scale, you can do cool stuff around them, right? So if I go up to this shape, or this one's harder, but you can do a double stop off the A shape. Right, I'll stop sharing so you can see that up close. So like if I'm here, I can hammer on it. The triads leave a finger free so that you can grab stuff. About the D shape. About the A shape. If I bar 10 and 10 and grab that 12th fret on the 3rd string, I can get a cool double stop, or just grab 10 and 10 and hammer onto that one. So these are where the magic of chordlet chords start to come to light. Can you see it here? You should be able to see this. So, right, and then here I can do stuff too. We get more and more into this stuff, but like, right, here's this shape out of the C shape, but you can do this is where all the chordlet chord stuff that you guys seen me play comes from. Triads and knowing my scales around them. And I will teach you this stuff as we get further along, especially out past the whole boot camp. This is just to jumpstart you and get you motivated to keep this stuff going in the new year, right? And my members in my All Access Pass, they get access. I teach at least one chordlet chord lesson a month, right? And my chordlet chord pro thing that's on my website, don't buy it yet because you're going to be able to get it, all of them for the price of one, you know, for a good price, everything for one price on Sunday. But like I'm going to be adding and making it a full length course over the next couple of months. It's going to be massively cool. All right. So this is what people want. I'm giving it to the people. But this is the why behind this stuff. All right. So we've done GBD, or we've done the triads here. So I'll back up and review. It's going to be hard to see all this, but I'll back up a little bit. So we got BDG, DGB, GBD. And you can go back up to the octave, BDG. Go to the next one, GBD, BDG, DGB, GBD. You can take it all the way up. Kind of hard on that telly. All right, and then the next one you've got BDG, got some open notes. That's out of the G shape. DGB, out of the E shape. GBD, out of the C shape. And then you can repeat this one up here, 14, 12, 12, out of that G shape. You can play minor pentatonic pattern 1 here, or major off of the G shape. And you got the Hendrix thing all day long. Yeah, that's something Keith Richards would do, like bar the A shape and hammer onto a C triad. Stuff like that. So there is that one. So now, if we go to the G major triads off the 6th, 5th, and 4th strings, our last one, root, 3rd, 5th. These are note names. I forgot to change that to note names here, but these are root, 3rd, 5th here. GBD, right? That's out of your G shape. BDG. Actually, these repeat, so you really don't have 12 shapes. You only have 9, because look, GBD is here, same thing as here. GBD, just no open note. So GBD right here. Let me close that. GBD right there. For the 9, 7, and 10. 9, 7, and 10. 9. Oh, right here. That's pinky ring index. Right? So, right there. And you can always go back and rewatch these. Right? At least for a week or so. So we have GBD here. BDG here. And I'm going ring index bar twice. Right there. So BDG right there. That's 7, 5, 5. Then I'm going up DGB. That's kind of like, that's your E shape again, but it's right here. All right. And that's kind of out of your C shape of G if you think of caged. Right? It's just an inversion of that C shape. So what have we got here? I'll go back through one more time and I'll give you the fingerings for all this stuff. So we've got BDG, middle, index, index. DGB, index, ring, middle. GBD, middle, ring, index. Then we've got GBD, ring, middle, index, 5, 4, 3. BDG, 9, 7, and 8. That's ring, index, middle. Then we've got DGB, and I'm just barring that. Next one, we got BDG. I'm just using my index as a piece of your G chord. Then we've got DGB. I just use this fingering because it matches up with my E shape. You could switch it to the full E shape that you got and just move that up to here, 5, 5, 4. I just like this because it makes me think of this, right? And I'm trying to relate everything to an easier chord shape or something that I already know. All right. And then you go up to your next one, GBD, pinky ring index, 10, 9, 7, right? I always thought that I couldn't get this one down because it was kind of tricky. They used it, the first time I learned it was in Under the Bridge by Red Hot Chili Peppers, and he goes... haven't played that in a while, you can tell. Right? So, like, that was the first time I'd ever learned that. It was probably maybe 8th grade. And I was like, that's hard. I'm never going to play that. But now I use it all the time. I'm like... So the more you do these things, even if you think it's a weird shape, it's going to work, right? You just got to practice it, right? So now we've done all of our shapes. GBD, BDG, DGB. All right, so let's move on a little bit here. So those are going to take a little while to get. Any of these, part of the homework would be doing it off of any string grouping. You don't have to do all string groupings to get this down, all right? You've got to do at least 1 or 2 string groupings and then post that video in the community, man. Oh, I forgot to do the drawing. Let's do our drawing. Let's take a commercial break here from Triads. And then let's do a drawing. Here we go. So if your name gets called, I'm giving away 3 Summit Guitar School t-shirts, and I will ship them to you. Okay? You just have to email me or message me on Facebook or whatever, or email me and let me know what size you wear and what your address is. If you don't want me to know your address, I guess you don't get a shirt. I'm not going to hunt you down. But that's what this is for tonight, all right? I forgot the drawing. No one reminded me? It's in my fancy Summit Guitar School hat. It's just upside down, okay? Mixing up the names. I added a bunch of new names tonight, so we're taking a quick break from this. I had a bunch of new names tonight from people that posted homework yesterday and today, all right? So from 8 o'clock until 7 o'clock tonight. So if you want to get your name in a hat, I'm going to give away something different tomorrow night. So I'm not going to look. I'm just going to grab something. All right, we're taking a commercial break here. We got Brian Harris with the shirt. You can't see that. You can't see that. But Brian Harris is winning a shirt. Brian, if you're in here, let me know and send me a message, okay? If you're in here, let me know, brother. Send me a message on Facebook or send me an email, okay? Brian Harris, you just want a shirt. I'm going to put that over there so I remember. Last night, people won access to the Chord thing. Now we've got Scott Fowler. Scott Fowler wins a shirt. All right. Scott, let me know, my friend. Let me know. All right. Thanks, Gen X. Scott Fowler with the shirt. Let's give Scott a virtual round of applause. All right. Last one. I feel like I'm like looking in there, but I'm not really. All right. Here's the last one. We've got Bradley Boys wins a shirt. Bradley, if you're in here, let me know. So tonight we've got people winning shirts. Some Guitar School shirts, and I will ship them to you. All right, so check this out. We got Bradley Boys, Scott Fowler, and Brian Harris winning shirts tonight. Congratulations on getting your homework in, getting into the drawing. Now, back to work, all right? So if you guys have trouble with these, all you have to do is exactly what John said, right? So it's just about drilling them and understanding what they are. BDG, DGB, GBD, GBD, BDG, DGB, BDG, DGB. Right? I'm going really fast, but just take your time with it and go through it, right? Just make sure... Right, eventually, it took me forever to get these right because I'm going to add minors to it now, but just take your time, have fun with it, right, and try to apply it to a song, right? You could think of this as like, you know that Jermaker song by Zeppelin? Well, look, you can practice that like that with these triads off the first three strings. You got C major. You got to play the whole lick to get it, but I'm probably not getting it right because I haven't played it since forever, but I still remember it. You do a C major triad right here. Here's the application for you right away. A minor. 5. So C major, 9, 8, 8. A minor, 5, 5, 5. He had 7 and 8 in there. F, 3 to 5. G, 5 to 7. So it's like... So all I'm doing here for a little kind of cheating way of Jermaker is C major, triad, 9, 8, 8, 10 to 12, A minor, 7 to 8, F, same shape as my C, 3 to 5, G, 5 to 7. If you get it right, you can be like... Right? That's not bad, right? It's a good way to apply it. You want to be able to, and unless I'm wrong, I'm guessing you guys have all played a triad from learning one song or another in the past, right? So there's more than likely you guys have played triad shapes. You just haven't necessarily known what you were playing, right? So that's the goal here, is to understand and know exactly what you're playing, right? Because once you know a little bit more of what you're doing, you can repeat it more often, play more melodically, get to where you're playing chordlet chord concepts, and then get to where you're just playing proficiently so that you can really feel like you're moving forward in your guitar journey. And that's a part of what this whole week is about. Let's create some momentum. Let's create some momentum where we're practicing 4 or 5 days a week for 30, 40 minutes a day, if not more, right? 10 minutes a day if you're out of time. You can practice 10 minutes a day. You probably spend 10 minutes staring at your phone, right? Easily. So you got 10 minutes to practice guitar, right? Most people do anyways. All right, there's no way everybody in here's, at least me for sure. Like, I'm busy as can be, and I still waste tons of time for some reason. I mean, we all do. That's just human nature. But, like, let's keep the momentum moving forward, right? That's what this whole week is about, right? So move forward, get some action steps going, and have at it, right? So let's look at some G minor triads. That's the next page. Give my radio voice here. So all we're doing is lowering the third here. So let's take a look at this. You can just memorize the shapes without lowering the third, but I find it's fairly helpful to understand where the third is, because if we did G major like this, right, 4, 3, 3, all we got to do is lower this third, and there's our G minor, our sad, lonely G minor, right? If we did D major like this, or sorry, G major, it's just the D shape. Guess what? This B is our third, and that D shape becomes a D minor shape. That's 9, 8, 7, middle ring index. This A shape, well, it's from the A shape, but this shape, 10, 10, 12, or 12, 12, 10, our ring fingers on the B, which is our third. All you gotta do is lower that, and that makes it that, which is out of an A minor shape of cage, which we didn't do the minor cage because we just didn't have time. We get into that in the courses though. There's that. So it's like major out of the A major shape, minor out of the A minor shape. Amazing, right? It's how it works. So I'm just going G minor, G minor, G minor. But if you think about it in relationship to where the third is, you just lower the third. The B is the third. That's why I'm doing them both over G, so you can see where the third is and we're not moving it around. It makes it way less confusing because you're like, if I did G for majors and D for minors, you don't see where the third shifts. So that's the whole point here, all right? Every piece of curriculum has a reason and a next step behind it, right? That's just how I'd like to do it. So B, D, G, drop the third. D, G, B is our third, drop the third. You got a D minor shape. G, B, D, that's the A shape. There's our B, we're gonna drop that. Make that an A minor shape. Let's go to our next one. Make sure you guys stick around to the end because we're going to do chordlet chord kind of concept with this stuff here tonight, which I was not planning on doing. Wasn't planning on doing, but that's what we're going to do. So, because I think that's why you guys are here, man. You want to learn some chordlet chord things, right? So, stick around, stick around. Now, here's our next one. We had G, B, D originally, right? Root third, fifth, third being here. All we're doing is lowering that G, B flat, D. Out of our, look at that, E minor shape. So this was, originally, this was out of our G, E major shape of G. So is this one. But now, that's out of our E minor shape. It's an E minor chord looking thing right here. If we had to bar it without the nut, move that up. E minor shape. So E minor shape, another piece of our E minor shape. That's ring, and I'm barring 3 and 3. So 7, 5, 7, 3. Sorry, 5, 3, 3. Right. So now, our next one up is we had B, D, G, B being our third out of our C shape, but now we're gonna lower that third, which we have to alter our fingering here. Okay, and this is middle index ring 8, 7, 8. Just like that. I love. There you go. Just like that. Thanks, Dan O'Brien. I don't see Bradley Boys. You guys, no one commented saying they won. No, the winners aren't in here tonight. Brian Harris, Bradley Boys, Scott Fowler. Okay. We're right here. Then our next one up, we had this G shape, or this A shape, right, which was B, D, G. But we're now doing. See if I can. But we're now doing B, D, this B, D, sorry, G, B, D, G, B out of an A minor shape. So we had G minor right here, right? So we had G minor right here, G minor here, G minor here. Now we've got G minor. This is out of our E minor shape. This is out of our E minor shape. This is out of a D minor shape, or a piece of a C minor shape. This is out of our C minor shape, which is a real pain to play. No one wants that. And then this one is out of our A minor shape, and so is this one. Okay, thanks, Isaiah. You already bought a shirt from me, man. But I got some new ones. Right, so like now if you're thinking, you know, you can strum through these, but let's get through the last ones and then I'll go through a little bit of this stuff. So now, let me pull this up and I'll share screen with you. We had B, D, G like this, right? Right? Why is this not zooming in on me? We had B, D, G, so now what we've got to do is we've got to lower that third. B flat, D, G. That's this guy right here. Right there. Then our next one, we've got B, D, G. I'm like going out of focus for some reason here. Driving me crazy. B, D, G, right there. Right? And that's 5, 5, 3. I'm using ring index. I'm sorry, ring pinky index. And that's out of our E minor shape. Yep, that's exactly right. There's 3 triad shapes. 3 triads for each chord shape. That's exactly right. You picked up on it. And 3 triad shapes per string grouping. So 3 and 3. And then G, B, D right here. That's root, minor third, fifth. Our major one was G, B, D. So this B has to be lowered. So it's G, B, D. This one feels more awkward than this one. Right? So this one out of our E minor shape. This one's out of our G minor shape. This one, sorry, out of our E minor shape, out of our C minor shape, and then you're back to kind of your G minor shape, which is kind of a pain to play, right? So now let's take a look at this last string set. We got G. We had it like this. We had G, B, D, right? So now we're lowering this third. This is our G shape, so we're going G, B flat, D. Right? And then we had B, D, G before for our major. And now we're on this one. And now we're going B flat, D, G. Admittedly, these are the ones I use the least off the 6th, 5th, and 4th. But I wouldn't be doing my due diligence if I didn't show them to you. B flat, D, G right here. Right? And then our next one was D, G, B, 10, 10, 9. But we're lowering this, so we got 10, 10, 8. And then you're back to your minor shape. Or your G minor shape here. G, B flat, D, 15, 13, 12. So you've got hopefully you have the ebook in front of you. If you haven't downloaded it, make sure you officially sign up in the link below. All right? Because this is like I'm teaching you a full class right now. So people should be taking advantage of that. Hopefully you are. So, we've got, if we run these suckers, someone asked for a song with the G minor. I can show you kind of how you use this stuff. But it's like G majors. Sorry. Hard to get to all those. Some of those are difficult to get to. The ones I use the most, admittedly, are string grouping 1, 2, and 3, 2, 3, and 4, and 3, 4, and 5. The 5, 4, and 3 are good for like knowing where you're at all times on the fretboard, but I don't use them a lot for improv, right? But for like minor triads, for like in general, like if I did G minor. There's a G minor to F. Simple vamp you could practice. You could do it here. G minor to F. Keep the F simple, or grab an F triad, which you probably haven't done before. If you have, then grab it. You do it here. So that's a cool way, just pick 2 chords, minor triad, and then a major chord, and you can play them all over, right? So like G minor triad to F. If you did Mary Jane's Last Dance, you could do it. It's A minor, G, D to A minor. So you could go A minor triad. You just have to figure out how to move it. My lighting is changing all weird tonight. I'm having all kinds of weird things happen. So But that's another way you could do it. That's how you should learn these things, right? This will open up everything to your fretboard, especially when you learn exactly how to find the pentatonic scales around it, right? Like if I go back to G minor and I play this E minor shape, well, that's your minor pentatonic. That's your minor pentatonic shape 1. So you could practice here and just go do like a little chordlet chord with this G minor. And then go to F. Back to your G minor. Triads in that position. Right? F. So it's just being able to find this stuff. And this is all stuff I teach in my programs. But you got to get this stuff down, the basics. I got students in here that have learned this before that are reviewing it tonight. So even if you know this stuff and you've played it before, man, there's no way it doesn't need some sort of a review, right? And to find a way to apply it to music is really the key here, right? You want to be able to apply everything you're learning here to some sort of a song, right? That's why I showed you the germ maker thing with the major and minor triad. Right? That's a great little lesson right there, right? So that's some really cool stuff. Thanks, Mr. Crinkle. Thanks to everybody that inversions change the sound. Yeah, it does change the sound, right, Leon? So it's like if I play a G minor here, it sounds different than there. If I play a G minor here, it sounds different than there. But that's where you get your colored tones, right? That's where the best guitar players come into play, because when you think about this stuff, your favorite guitar players know how that stuff works, right? Sample in a jar, yeah. I love that song. So it's like, that's what your favorite guitar players do that you're not doing, right? Let's just be honest. They know more chord shapes. They know where the scales fit around the chord shapes. That's your journey, right? The triads are great for rhythm guitar. So if you're sitting there going, well, I don't really want to be a lead guitar player. Great. You still need to learn your triads, right? So and you want to learn them so that you have different colors to choose from as you're playing guitar, right? I don't want to be stuck playing G minor like this or G minor like this like I did for years. What about playing other ones? And I don't want to be stuck playing G like this. Come on. What if somebody's playing G like this, right? I'll loop it. All right, here's an example. So like, what if you're jamming with a friend and they only know their open chords, right? You don't want to play the same thing they're playing. Miles Davis once said, play the music that's not there. Don't play what's already being played, right? That's a sign of a great guitar player that's growing in their skill set, right? To say, here's G, like if I'm playing G, C, E, let's go back to C. If we do Nashville number systems, that's 1, 4, 6, 4, right? Now, let's say somebody's playing that, right? And I don't want to play the same thing because Miles Davis told us and he was a genius. So, right? So what we want to do is we want to be able to go over here. Keep commenting, guys. This is great. We want to be able to we want to say, all right, I can play triads with G, C, E minor, and C again, right? So what if I come up here and I can experiment if we're jamming? I can be like, right? So suddenly, all of a sudden, I'm coming up with my own rhythm guitar part, right? I can do it. And if I'm like, it's kind of brittle because I'm on the telly, right? But I'm still coming up with a part. Well, let's say that feels wrong. Well, if I know my changes or if I know my triads, I can be like, well, let's come up here and do it out of the C shape. So I go. I'll mute that. And now I'm coming up with parts, right? Right, let's not play the music that's already there. Play what's not there. Yes, that's exactly it. Yeah. That's all they're doing. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. They're just showing you chord shapes that you could learn on your own, of course. But that's what I'm doing. But, that's kind of what they're doing exactly. Yeah, the looper, man. So that's it. Or let's say I didn't like that. What if I change it and I go up here and I'm like, all right. And look how close these are. I'm sorry. Once you know your triads, you don't get any actual feedback or instruction with that. You just get a book full of chords. Which, whatever, if that's how you learn. I need interaction. That's how I teach. Look how close those are. On top of, if you know how close these are, G, C, E minor, back to C. If you know how close they are, imagine if you know where the scales are. You're not having to move much. It's easier than playing bar chords, and you're adding all these cool colors to a simple progression. Right? You sound more advanced because you are more advanced, right? Now, so rhythm and lead fills is what most solo musicians are at. Right, exactly. So it's like, if I'm here, and this is how I'm creating chord concepts for you guys, right? So if I'm here and I'm going, let's go back to that. If I'm going, I know, because I know what cage shapes I'm in. I know which major pentatonic fits right here for the key of G. So I know if I'm playing this chord progression with triads or anywhere in this position between 7 and 10, right? I know that I can go. I just played C. And it's way more melodic because I start to target chord tones within each chord, all right? That's the next level, all right? That can't be explained in a 5-day boot camp, but that is explained in my programs. So that's really what you're going for, okay? That was a 1-4-6-4. Scott nailing it with the Nashville number system. 1, 4, 6, 4. It's a classic progression and it sounds good. Yeah, so check this out. So now if I did it in a different spot, I went. All I'm doing is grabbing pieces of those and landing on chord tones. If those triads in all the same neighborhood, there's a pentatonic underneath it all, you can say it hits 90%. Yes, John's 100% right? Because he's a student of mine, so he knows all of my tricks. But you're 100% right. Yeah, that's exactly it. It's like the guitar stops becoming such a mystery when you really dig into it and approach things in a really logical kind of step-by-step way, which is exactly what we're doing here tonight and what we're going to do Thursday and Friday, and hopefully for the foreseeable future, all right? So this is good stuff. Can't wait. So, yeah, that's coming, Gen X rocker. This is not a Gen Z channel, My daughter watches all those Gen Z channels where they're and there's nothing wrong with it. I get sucked into them, too. It was a bunch of 15-year-old kids doing a Target Squishmallow haul, right? Or doing a Get Ready With Me, and I'm like, why are you watching this? And she clicks on the channel and it's they've got 4 million subscribers. I'm like, you're telling me some 16-year-olds have 4 million subscribers by doing Target hauls and doing a Get Ready With Me? I'm amazed. Good luck. Good for them, man. That's impressive. I'm not hating. I'm impressed. I wish I could do that. But this is not that. This is we're going to learn some stuff and you're going to have to work for it a little bit. All right. So can't wait until, yeah, you got it. So that's it. So you got to practice and let's get to some homework here. All right. So we've got major and minor triads. And now let's apply these to a quick progression. So I'm going long tonight, guys. So hopefully that's okay. Oh, yeah, we can solve that problem. I can't say your name. 1113. So let's take a look at applying some triads right here. This class is going long tonight. I was just trying to not rush through the material. It's the first night I kind of did. But, okay, let's look at our chord progression and how these triads apply. This is still week 1. Yeah, this is still third day. So practice each of these shapes in order to get the fingering down. Once you have all the shapes down, start strumming through the chords to get a feel or switching triad shapes. Now we're into this. So put on a metronome and play different rhythms while staying on the same ones. So I've given it to you in two different... Yeah, you got to get the gold one to get all the feedback, man. That's the one. Like I said, I'm only doing 50. All right. I'm opening enrollment Sunday at 5 p.m. All right. So I'm only doing 50 people this time because last time it was hard to keep track of everyone's feedback and all the stuff. So we're doing 50 for the gold enrollment, right? The silver enrollment is going to be just lifetime access to all the courses that are out there, as well as the recordings and 40 hours of. It's still a great plan, right? It's just not going to be as big of an investment as the gold one, all right? The gold one's going to be lifetime access to community Q&As and everything. So the silver one is going to have access to all current and future courses, as well as 40 hours of master classes, which is a ton of content, right? And access to all the recordings. Gold just gets everything, all right? I'm only doing 50, so keep an eye on that because, like I said, there's 800 people in the boot camp. Not all show up to all these things, but I guarantee you those 50 are going to go quick as soon as I open enrollment Sunday at 5 o'clock. And when 50 hits, I'm shutting it down. Like, so you want to get in there. I guarantee, I'm promising you, this is not a marketing tactic. That's exactly what I'm going to do. Ask John Clinton. He knows. All right, so look. So here's what we got. Let's take a look at this. 1 second. This is hard, man. I got to get something that zooms for me. Yes, it does go. Yeah, you got to get a car warranty. Yeah, if you want the extended warranty. If you want the extended warranty, it's only an extra $99 a month payment. I love it when they do that to you, and then you're like, well, over the course of 5 years, wait, I'm paying an extra $6,000 for this car? Take it off. That's why I buy Toyotas. Don't kill me. I don't like foreign cars. So look, I've got a G, B, D, G, an A minor, a C, and a G. All right, so this is G first inversion, A minor, C, A minor third in the bass, and C. All right, so you got. So you can think of it. This is a 1 chord in the key of G to the 2 chord to the 4 chord. You can make it funky. All right, there it is, my friends. So those you're going to be able to play through, all right? Now, if we go up a string grouping, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to do G, B, D like this, all right? And then you're going to go A minor. That's going to be, so look, you got to pay attention to these because they're kind of hard, but I got it in tab for you, so it'll be easy. G, B, D. And look, I also have it right here. It's all right there as well. So, like, you're going to be able to find it. And then you got A minor. That's 7-5-5. C in the A shape, 5-5-5. These are all off of D, G, and B. And then back to G. Off of D, G, and B. So we're keeping it on one string grouping so it's not getting too confusing. All right. All right. So check this out. Now you're going to be able to practice it here. Thanks, John. That was over here. That was this version. And now we're on this version. You're going to go. Right, we're not getting into the scales underneath it yet. That's tomorrow. So you gotta make sure you come back for that. So now we can do it here. I'm not gonna do it off the 6th, 5th, and 4th because I don't use it that much. But you got it right here, G over D. This is just how they write it when it's an inversion. So when it's a slash chord, it's the G major chord with the B in the bass. A minor chord, C in the bass. That's how that works when you see those on chord charts. All right. So you've got 5 5 4, A minor 7 7 5, C 7 5 5, and then back to G. Where is it? Right there. So you're gonna go. And you can change up the rhythm, just like I said. I like the ones off the 5th and 4th. 7 o'clock again tomorrow. Make sure you sign up if you haven't in the link in the description for the full boot camp. You'll get alerted 7 p.m. tomorrow night, Central Time. 7 p.m. Central Time, Thursday night, 7 p.m. Central Time, Friday night, all right? And if you're lucky, which you might be, I might do a bonus session Saturday. We'll see. I'm thinking about doing a bonus session on Saturday. If you would like an extra session on Saturday to keep the momentum going, drop a comment over there, and I might do it. G over B here, or this G over D, and then A minor. So let's run through the fingering one more time so everybody's got it, okay? So G, B, D, or that's B, D, G. That's 4, 3, 3, and I'm barring 3 and 3. A minor, just a bar. C, I'm looking at this right here. Right? Same channel. Same bad time, same channel, yeah. And then back to G. This is like 3, 4, and 1. So that's 5, 5, 3. This one, G, B, D, that's root position. That's 5, 4, 3. And that's ring, index, middle. A minor, I shift up a whole step. 7, 5, 5, I'm barring. Right? C, 5, 5, 5. And then back to G, B, D. Last set that we're going to do tonight. Bonus time. Then you got G, B, D, G, B here. A minor. I like it this fingering. That's like 3, 4. Sorry. Third finger, fourth finger, middle finger, 5, 5, 4. Third finger, fourth finger, index. That's 7, 7, 5. C. This one I love because you can do all kinds of double stops. And that's 7, 5, 5 as a bar. And then back to the G. All right. So there's where we've got. All right. We'll see about that Saturday thing. We'll see how we're feeling. Been teaching my butt off. All I do is teach, my friends. So now, here are the fretboard diagrams of each shape and make it easier if you don't like the tabs. All right, so I'm giving you as many resources as possible. You can read it off of the diagrams here, off the diagrams there, or off the diagrams here. It's the same exact situation, okay? So, look, guys. Applying triads, yeah, these are all the same things. I'm just giving you more ways to take a look at it. So, homework. What's your homework here? So your homework is this. You got really 3 things you can do for homework that I think we're going to apply here, and let me show them to you. So, golly, look at this ebook. How many pages are in? 53 pages in an ebook that I'm not selling for $30 on Facebook without any kind of instruction. Right? You're getting instruction and everything, and there's no no ad for it. So look, all right, first set of homework. Yeah, I'm not a Jehovah's Witness. So look, first set of homework is get your major triads, all right? And you can do all 3 string groupings or 4 string groupings, but as long as you post any string grouping, you're entered into the drawing for tomorrow night, all right? You got BD, all right? So string grouping 1, 2, 3, and 4. Your homework is really to learn them all, but you're never going to be able to do that in one night unless you've done these before. So just post a video of 1 string grouping, if not 2, okay? Same thing goes for the minor. Your action steps are this. Learn the string grouping 1 and 2, and post a video of 1 or 2 of these, all right? Queensland, Australia in the house, okay? Now, second piece of homework. Obviously you want to learn all these, but as far as posting in the group, if you haven't posted the other days, make sure you do that stuff, okay? So check out over here. Just string grouping 1 or 2 for the G majors. Even if it's just 1 string grouping, post it. That's your homework. Second set of homework, the minors. Either string grouping 1 and 2, or if not both of them, just one of them. All right? You can get that down. And then last piece of homework, this is going to be the more fun way to do it, okay, is play through one of the 3 of these on the video. All right, they're all cool, and come up with your own strumming thing, right? You got to be creative. I'm not giving you a strumming here because I want you to like do your own thing. And you can slide into these. Sloppy, but you get the idea. Kind of funky. The way I would practice this is I would do these, and then I would go straight to these. Your dingo ate your baby. Here. Were you making Seinfeld quotes? So look, you got to be able to do them on all of them. But your homework would be to just post either this one, or this one, or get all 3, right? You could go, eventually you can mix them up and do string grouping 1 for the G, string grouping 2 for the A minor, 2 for the C, and then 2 for the G. So you want to bounce back and forth, but I find it easier for students after teaching for 22 years that if you learn them off one string grouping first, it's kind of easier to compartmentalize, all right? So that's kind of what you want to go for there. So G, A minor, C, G, A minor, C, G, A minor, C, G. I don't know why, I really like that one. Sounds full. If you know your G major or E minor pentatonic, you can really get some action over the top of these suckers. Because if you know your E minor pentatonic right here, you could be like, because it's E minor and G are relative, so you can play both scales and they still fit both keys. So like you go like. Right, so hopefully that makes sense. And that's, I'm not going to break down all of that, but your G major scale that fits over that here or here, and then you can do chord, chord, lick, chord, chord, lick, chord, chord, lick, chord, right? That's kind of cool. All right, y'all. So main thing, homework, show me some G major triads up the neck, G minor triads up the neck, and then apply this to a chord progression, all right? So that's what you've got. Let me stop. Let me make sure. I'll give you, you already know if you have the ebook. Man, I can't believe I got 53 pages in this sucker, right? You already know if you're in the ebook. That's why it took me so long to create this boot camp. That we're going to add chord tones and scales to our triads tomorrow night. So if you thought the theory was boring the first night, it's all in for a reason, all right? So, like, we're doing this the correct way. We're doing this the correct way. We're going, all right, sure, we need to know a little bit of theory on the back end. Then we know a little bit of, what did we learn second? Caged, right? And then we learned a little bit of triads. Now we're going to learn to put scales over the triads, and then we're going to create a full chord lick chord concept that hopefully you can take and run and make your own with, right? I'm already giving you tips every single night on exactly how you can do this, all right? So, yeah, that's it, exactly. So, yeah, Caitlin and I are friends. Yeah, she's a good friend of mine. So I hope you guys had a great time. Enjoy the videos, enjoy all this stuff, and have a great night. And hopefully this provided you some massive value. I guess if you have any questions, what do we got? I got about 5 minutes. I can answer a couple questions if you've got them. Yeah, Caitlin and I teach a lot of the same kind of concepts. Oh, here was a question. Good. We always bounce ideas off of each other. Serious question. I get the impression that a lot of double stops and such are derived from triads when playing leads. Yes, you're right. Very true. That is absolutely true. Thanks, Ramona. I don't know what the huh means. Any questions? Any more questions? Thanks, John. I have no idea, Isaiah. I worked right through dinner, so whatever's upstairs, I'm going to go eat. A lot of repetition, Gary. Can I start over? No, I'm not starting over. You can rewatch the videos. Oh, that's great, Lucy. Yeah, it's hard to absorb it all, but you'll get it. You'll get it. I guarantee you, if you stick with me, I'll make sure you get it, especially when enrollment opens. So, thanks so much. Really, really helpful. Maybe you can add a printout of the shapes associated with the triads. I think they're on there, aren't they? Oh, the cage shapes. Oh, maybe. Can't start over. All right. Well, I guess that's it for tonight. We're not getting any serious questions, so I'll be looking for that homework. Congratulations to the winners. I'll go over them one more time. Bradley Boys gets a shirt. I'll ship it to you. My head's full too. My stomach's empty. Scott Fowler gets a shirt. It's all right. I won't starve. Got more food than we know what to do with, probably. Brian Harris gets a shirt. Brian Harris, Scott Fowler, and Bradley Boys. Reach out. Yes, handwriting this stuff out helps me a ton, right? It helps me a ton. So, if that was helpful for you guys, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you're completely enrolled into the bootcamp, and I will look forward to seeing you guys. What is they doing? Yeah, you're right. Lucy Day and Dan O'Brien agreeing over here that man, I used to handwrite it. I used to get really bored in school when I was studying this stuff. Here's the deal. This is crazy because I used to get bored in college, and I would write out G, 1 sharp, F sharp, D, 2 sharps, F and C. And it's weird the way it kind of stacks out. Some people do that in the homework, and all of a sudden you got this kind of weird shape. And then the next thing you've got is like, if you do that with your major scales and your triads, you could do that with G major, G, B, D, root, B, D, G, first inversion, D, G, B, second inversion. You could do that for D, F sharp, A, root, D, F sharp, A, D, first inversion. That's a lot to write, but that's how I remember all that stuff. I did all that stuff as well. Color code and the scale degrees help a lot too. Good. I'm glad, Lucy. Anyways, that's it for tonight. I'll see you guys tomorrow night. Post that homework. Make sure you're on there, and also make sure that you're working hard on the previous days as well. Just take your time with it. These recordings will be up for the next week or so. So make sure you grab it and work hard on them. I'll talk to you guys soon, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.